Chris Boone, sponsored by Billy Black HVAC and Carrier.
We saw a few showers across the Concho Valley, though most of that moisture we kind of saw last week, that has pushed off towards the southeast, up toward the Houston area. Again, seeing that increased cloud coverage and those showers out in the Gulf of Mexico, though we did see a very similar setup. They saw some isolated thunderstorms yesterday in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That was back behind it. We saw a very similar setup, but not nearly as strong. We did see a little bit of severe storms earlier in the afternoon. That since dissipated in northern Reynolds County. Now just kind of looking at some lingering showers, kind of moving off towards the southwest, starting to make their way in towards Reagan County. Everything else for the eastern parts have mostly settled down. Still seeing some lingering rain out in Coleman. And again, we do have that flood advisory for parts of Reynolds, Coke, as well as northern. Oh, and there it goes. Now it has expired, as again, those showers have since dissipated across that area. So again, looking at some improving conditions, not nearly as much rain just in the past hour. Again, nothing on the watches and warnings now that we've seen that flood advisory expire and kind of let go. But here's what we were talking about, those heavy downpours just to the north of us here in San Angelo. And then as we kind of saw another round of those showers, and then we quickly saw everything kind of break up. Seeing a little bit more of those blue skies, not as much moisture in the atmosphere to kind of work with and see those longer sustaining showers and thunderstorms. In fact, temperatures have actually increased just a little bit in the past couple of minutes. 91 degrees. Now we've seen less cloud coverage. Those dew points, though, only in the 50s. So that's a big change from last week. We were seeing them in the 70s. So again, a little bit drier. Those winds out of the south, generally about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not too breezy across the area. And here's definitely a kind of a rare sight. Today, spot on perfect as far as our average temperatures for both the afternoon high right at 92, that's where we're supposed to be, and the overnight low at 68 degrees. So again, an absolutely average Labor Day for your afternoon and evening. And as we kind of go in towards the next couple of days, we're going to hang out in this range. Again, those low to mid 90s and those overnight lows dropping down into the upper 60s across much of the area. Did see much of the area into the 90s today. 91 in Mason as well as Menard, 90 in El Dorado, 93 out in Mertzen. A little bit cooler in the northern parts. Again, that's where we saw some of those showers and that increased cloud coverage. So again, 82 in Coleman, 79 out in Robert Lee. So again, a bit cooler, and you see the temperature change this time yesterday. Most places it's only about a degree or two cooler or warmer, but you definitely see the impacts of the rain showers out in Ballinger and Coleman, about 10 to 15 degrees cooler. Everybody else still just hovering a few degrees here and there. Tonight we'll cool back down into the upper 60s, and overnight low of 69 degrees. And we'll decrease those rain chances as well. Again, 20%. And only going to be dropping as we go through the rest of the week. We'll start to see more drier conditions work in towards our area, and that's going to allow for, again, less cloud coverage. And then as soon as we get the less cloud coverage, it translates into those warmer temperatures. So it could be back into those toasty mid-90s for an afternoon high. That'll be only a degree or two above average. So again, pretty close to where we should be for the beginning of September. And again, those rain chances really settle down as we get past sunset, going through the rest of the evening hours. And then for us tomorrow, again, very isolated. Most of us just seeing the increased cloud coverage. It's very spotty in places, but will dry out again as we go through the rest of the week, and that's because all that moisture, well, that stays well off towards our southeast. Again, it stays out over the Gulf Coast and going to be hanging out in that area. We'll see a whole lot of action for us here in the Concho Valley, but that's because, again, we see that ridge and that upper level low, or upper level high rather, that begins to rebuild back over the western parts of the United States, where they've been seeing some record heat. And in fact, over the Four Corners and out towards California, that stays in place and kind of keeps us in the in-between. Basically, the cooler temperatures off towards the east, warmer temperatures off towards the west. And then as we go in towards next week and in towards the weekend, we'll start to see a little bit of cool air make its way in from the north. Not expecting that to make it all the way in towards our area. We'll probably be looking for the next one to be bringing us some cooler temperatures for us here in the Concho Valley. Otherwise, temperatures not too bad. Again, into the mid-90s. Again, slightly above average, just a degree or two for this time of year. We'll see those drier conditions as we go through the rest of the week. But because of the drier conditions, those dew points a little bit lower. We'll start to see those overnight lows drop back down into the upper 60s. So again, a fairly quiet 7-day pattern, but we'll start to see a little bit more increased cloud coverage as we go into the beginning of next week. That could help us see those cool temperatures back down into the upper 80s.